Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today I have a very, very special video to share with you all, and that's because we have some leaked early access embargo information about the upcoming Famine Rogue event that you're going to want to know. Now, this contains all of the information regarding the 10 nodes in the event, what enemies are going to be on this, and the wave drop information. Now, of course, this is subject to change, but I want to say that it's pretty unlikely that Scopely will change the enemies on this because they've spent a lot of time carefully crafting and considering this, and it is completely different than the Pestilence event. So that's one question answered for you right there. We'll be going over each of these nodes, the big bad enemies that you're going to see on this, the ones to watch out for, and my personal thoughts on the events and the nodes overall. And before we start, yes, this was information released by another content creator accidentally today. This was then shared with me by some of my followers, and I think it's really important that you guys get a heads up on this like they do. I wish absolutely no ill will on said content creator and hope Scopely treats them with more respect than they showed me when I was in the Envoy program, because if anyone knows all about this, then it's absolutely me. But on with the show. So if you're ready to go, then let's take this Famine event and boil it down. Okay, and so before we get started with the spreadsheet, some people might be asking, well, where do I have this information? And it would be this video here that was sent to me by one of my followers. So this shows the gameplay footage of the Famine event on the playtest server for each of the nodes. So I'm not going to be going over this video in its entirety, but know that I have it and other people have it because it's the internet, right? Something only needs to be up for like 30 minutes or even less, and someone's going to see it and someone's going to download it, I guess, and that's what happened, I suppose, here. And this was shared with me, and this is where I've seen it. So all of the information is here. There's all of the different nodes. We're not going to be going over the actual gameplay, but I've taken all of this and I've written it down in spreadsheet form because I think that's more useful information for you guys to be able to understand exactly what is going on. So I just wanted to kind of prove to you guys that yes, this information was out there, this was available, and it's happened. And we're going to talk about all of these individually. I just wanted to kind of point that out right there in case anyone calls me a liar. So here we go. This is the spreadsheet here. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit if I can. So I'm bottom right Boilon today because I think this is easier because I'm like the most out of the way of the table. And so we're going to go over this one by one. We're going to talk about the node and wave information I have across the top, like enemy, in case you guys don't know. This is the way I've set it up. This is the first time I've done something like this, so I don't know if it's really set up in the most real. I don't know. It might. Hopefully, it's not too confusing. So we're going to start with node 1. And for those of you guys who don't know what the information what the characters that you need to use for these nodes are. This was in the data mines as well, so thank you to those, including Minball, who does this too. So the first 2 nodes are going to be City. Nodes 3 and 4 are going to be Mutant. Nodes 5 is Young Avengers, A-Force, and Inhumans. 6 and 7 is Villains, and 8 and 9 are Cosmic Mystic. So it's like Cosmic apparently on node 8 under difficulty 5. And then everything else is Cosmic Mystic. For the majority of us, it's going to be Cosmic Mystic. So that's what we're going to... I'm not going over the characters that you need to use in this video. We'll be talking about that in a separate video at a later time. But let's get started with this information. So, Node 1, we have 11 enemies. And on Wave 1, we have Capsam, Juggernaut, Blob, Negasonic, Cable, and Polaris. So you got some X-Force here, 2 X-Force, you got Polaris standalone, Juggernaut, and Blob, and Capsam. What's important, though, is who's in Wave 2, right? So you see Longshot and Shatterstar. Great. And Sharon, Magneto, and Toad. So just to let people know, the characters that I have highlighted in orange, this is, my opinion, the sort of priority targets, I think. Because I'm thinking, I'm looking here at Juggernaut and Blob, and then I see Magneto and Toad on the second wave, and I'm like, that's not very good. And in some instances, I have, like, when the wave drops. But in the test footage that I saw, that, there was a lot of AoE damage that went around from City characters, and it kind of dropped all at the same time. Everyone kind of died, so I don't know exactly when. Usually it's less than 5 remaining or 4 remaining, then the second wave drops. You can see that most of the nodes are like 10, 11, 12 enemies. So my priority target here is probably going to be Juggernaut and Blob, if at all possible, because I don't want Magneto and Toad to come down and add into that extra synergy with alongside them, and Blob's going to throw deflex like crazy. So I don't think the Cap Sam and Sharon synergy is as big of a deal, but you might want to deal with them too. Now, you may also want to deal with Polaris, because then there's Longshot and Shatterstar as well, who's going to like synergize with Polaris with the turn bar and the barrier, and that might become a pain in the ass, but I think the biggest pain in the ass is going to be the Brotherhood here. And so that's my first thoughts of node number 1. Node number 2, we have Wong, Gambit, Proxima, Hela, Morbius, and Bishop on wave 1. And then wave 2 is Phantom X, Dazzler, Agatha, and Merc Lieutenant. So we have some brand new characters from this patch. From last patch, actually. But we do have some characters from this patch further down below as well. So we have Wong and Gambit. And to me, those are kind of like the main priority targets here. And because you can use city characters, I'm thinking like using Miles actually here so that you could disrupt Gambit from stealth, because in the test footage what you saw was that Gambit took some damage. He was under 50% health, he stealthed himself, and it was a little bit harder to get into him. And I don't want, because with Phantom X and Dazzler being there on wave number 2, I think you want to get rid of Gambit ASAP, and you probably don't want Wong and Agatha to synergize with each other either. That being said, there's the others are not as big of a deal. You could deal with them as you see fit, but I think these are probably the biggest problem here, and you want to limit how much synergy kind of pops up in the second wave alongside wave 1 characters. And you will see further down as we go through it that there's a lot of this like sort of random synergy that appears in like future in subsequent waves that not from the start. So node number 3, and this is where we get to the mutant section. And I need to scroll down one more. So we actually have 12 enemies here on node number 3, and this is with mutant characters. And we have T'Challa, Dagger, Thanos, Kate Bishop, Yondu, Star-Lord, and Hawkeye. OG Hawk. I don't know why I said that, actually. There's only one Hawkeye. And then in Wave 2, we have Colleen, Hela, two Strifes, and Ebony Maw. And this appears when there's less than 3 remaining. So basically everyone but 2 characters pretty much have to die. And I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And what I would recommend is probably just killing these. You don't want Thanos and Ebony Maw to synergize with each other when Ebony Maw drops down. And other than that, it's not a huge deal, but obviously T'Challa and Yondu have some synergy together here on wave 1. We have Dagger. You don't want to let Dagger get to her ult on turn 2. That's a bit of a problem as well. So those are kind of like my thoughts here. Again, just my initial thoughts without even actually playing it myself. Now we get to node number 4. And this is only 9 enemies, but it's kind of interesting. We have Madeline Pryor, Sabretooth, Graviton, Emma Frost, Mystique, and Silver Samurai. I can see a little bit of resetting going on here with Mystique's ultimate, making sure it just doesn't hit the wrong person and kills it. You might have to reset there for that. Graviton's interesting because if you know Graviton's kit, if anyone gets under 50% hit points, they get their debuffs extended, which is not very good. However, if you're running like Astonishing X-Men, this might be a good node for them, because there's going to be a lot of debuffs that you might want to clear. I'm not super familiar with Madeline, like how powerful she's going to be in the context of Scourge. I don't really come up against her much, and so I don't know the impact of Madeline, which is why she's highlighted here with this weird green color. But I think Graviton and Emma Frost are going to be the first priority targets here. In the second wave, you get Sabretooth, Invisible Woman, and Deadpool. I don't think Deadpool's a really big problem here. Sabretooth is just more mutant villains, right? There's a lot of mutant villains going on here, so you'll just eventually get through that, and there's an Invisible Woman here on wave number 2. So this is something that you'll want to take a look at as well. Now, node number 5. This is where we get to the first Young Avengers node. And this is filled with a lot of enemies. Okay, so we have Yellow Jacket, Strange, OG Strange, Evil Strange, Zemo, Deathpool, Taskmaster, my head's in the way, Yo-Yo, and Hela. Okay, so this is where things sort of start to get a little bit interesting. With Wave 2, we have Sunfire, 2 Elsas, and Ebony Maw. And so my initial thoughts are, it might be good to, you want to control Deathpool. In the video footage, Deathpool was wreaking havoc a little bit, and my thoughts are, well, there's no stun in the Young Avengers arsenal. There's no ability block either. But there is Miles, and he can slow and reduce turn bar on his special. So I'm wondering like if you can use that to control the fight on Deathpool. And then you want to kind of focus on taking some of these characters out. OG Strange because he revives. Evil Strange. Zemo's a pain in the ass as well. And then Yo-Yo, absolutely. Because You just really don't want Yo-Yo's passive to be going off over and over and over again, giving offense down to your character. So if you can get rid of that, and this is where I think that there may be some resetting here involved, because Yo-Yo is going to be, applying that offense down, but maybe you can reset, right? And hope that she doesn't apply that offense down to one of your important characters. Now, I want to talk about like the importance of Inhumans. I really don't see what kind of value Inhumans are going to bring to this fight, because we were talking about like who's worth bringing up. Young Avengers first, but then I'm thinking like A-Force, like what is there any value here for A-Force in node number 5? And I don't know. There might be some value of like a Black Bolt, Captain Marvel A-Force combo. Like you can get like a turn 1 big hit maybe on Yo-Yo or something like that to get him down, or even like OG Strange or someone else. We get a wave 2 drop at less than 5, which means that you're 8, which is 4, or at 4 people. So you're able to kill 4 of these before the next wave drops, and then you get these 4 here, which, it's just things that you're gonna have to deal with. Sunfire, I think because he applies offense down to the team for 2 turns, I believe that's on his ultimate, that you're probably going to want to have to deal with this. Elsa Bloodstone is really going to punish Miles if you're using him, though, because any dodges or anything like that is really going to punish him. He'll probably eventually get hit by them. So just something to keep in mind here, with all the evades that the Young Avengers put up as well, Elsa's going to be really punishing for additional attacks on this. So let's move on to node number 6. This is where the start of the villains lane happens, and we have Nick Fury, Yelena, Killmonger, Coulson, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and OG Cap, Captain America. And then in wave 2, we have Misty Knight, Icarus. Luckily, no Cersei is on the field. Luke Cage and Killmonger. And wave 2 drops when there's less than 5 remaining, basically 4 of them. So when 3 of them die, wave 2 will drop. So here, I think that Nick Fury is probably a good idea to take out. Shang-Chi is absolutely a good person to take out. You don't want that synergy to go up with Misty Knight. And then Black Widow because of the buffs and the stuns, things like that. I put Killmonger in here just because I don't know if you want 2 Killmongers on the field afterwards. I don't think Yelena, Coulson, and OG Cap are really a big deal. So these would be like my 4 kills going into wave 2, and then, just dealing with it as it is. Icarus, standalone, I mean, he might do some damage, but I just don't think he's really going to do a crap ton compared to, like, having Icarus and Cersei together. There's going to be no negative turn bar rewind, no flipping on the ultimate. It's just damage, and I think you'll be able to deal with it. Node number 7. Now, I think this is going to be the hardest node in the whole Scourge event, in my opinion. So we have wave 1, we have Nico Minoru, Spider-Woman, Jessica Jones, Kitty Pryde, Iceman, and She-Hulk, interestingly, because She-Hulk was a member of A-Force, and yet she's not in the game. Heyo. Wave 2, we have Phoenix, Beast, and Magic. And then in wave 3, there is a third wave here. We have Captain Marvel and Spider-Woman. There's 11 enemies total. And this is a tough one, right? Because I'm seeing Phoenix, Beast, and Magic, and I'm like, okay, I really don't want all of that X-Men synergy on wave number 2 with Kitty Pryde and Iceman. But then I see a second Spider-Woman, and then a Captain Marvel, and then we already have all of the A-Force here. I'm like, so this is a tough node. Maybe you can make it so that like everyone's kind of low hit points and you kind of knock them all down at the same time. That might be possible because, boy, there's some potential here for things to go wonky. I think there's a lot of A-Force synergy here. There's a lot of uncanny, a lot of X-Men synergy. You want to make sure that you kill Magic, before Phoenix. Otherwise, Magic's just going to bring Phoenix back to life as another Dark Phoenix, and you really don't want that. And then Beast can keep them all alive. So I think this is going to be the most troubling node on the whole Famine event, and that's why I highlighted it with red. Because after watching the footage on it, I was like, yeah, I think this is going to be a problem one. Despite being able to use villains, that gives you the option of Black Order, that gives you most of Weapon X, that gives you Darkhold, 3 Darkhold members, not all of them, Evil Strange, Agatha, and Morgan, so you might be able to do something with that as well. So, we'll have to play it out to see how it goes, but I just want to give people a heads up about the nodes here. Node 8, this is where we start with the Cosmic or Cosmic Mystic section. There's 10 enemies. On wave 1, we have Ghost Rider, Vulture, 2 Vultures, Moon Knight, Scarlet Spider, Squirrel Girl, my head's in the way, Scarlet Witch, and Red Guardian. Okay, so then second wave drops when I believe less than 7, so that's 6. So 2 of them have to die. And I have 3 characters in the orange. I think the Squirrel Girl and Scarlet Spider are probably a main priority. If you can deal with Moon Knight, if you can slow him down, control him, you really don't want his ultimate to go off because that's a lot of negative status effects. So that's just my initial thoughts there. And in wave 2, we have Symbiote Spider-Man and Spider-Punk. Again, you don't want that additional Web Warrior synergy. It's not a lot, but you still probably don't want to deal with it if at all possible. That being said, if Ghost Rider's not eventually killed, he's going to bap you in the face every single time that you kill one of his allies there, so that could be a problem as well for something to watch out for. Node number 9, we have Cosmic Mystic again. Again, you're going to be using characters probably like the Eternals, Deathpool, Cosmic Mystic. I mean, that could also be Evil Strange as well. Silver Surfer, Hela, these types of characters. So there are some good ones to choose from, and obviously, if you have the Eternals, you absolutely should be using them. Wave number 1 for node number 9, we have Nick Fury, Coulson, Shield Trooper, Shuri, Red Guardian, heads in the way, Iceman, and Killmonger. 8 enemies here, with a total of 13. Now, I was not able to get the wave drop information, and that's because they AoE'd so fast that I don't know when it actually occurred, because there's a lot of AoE damage and people died all at the same time. But as far as my considerations, obviously it's going to be Shuri. You're going to want to try and get through Red Guardian's spawn taunt, you're going to want to attack Shuri, and then you're going to want to get rid of Nick Fury. Wave number 2, with Kestrel, Maria Hill, Cap Sam, Kingpin, and Killmonger. So more Secret Avengers, which is another reason why I want to get rid of Nick Fury. The other ones are not as big of a deal. Coulson doesn't really bother me. Shield Trooper doesn't really bother me. So I think that's where the biggest problems are going to be. And then obviously in Wave 2, you're going to want to focus on characters like Kestrel and Maria Hill, because that's going to be a big problem. If you can control Cap Sam, that's even better. But maybe get a stun on him with Cersei if that's possible. Ability blocks, maybe if you use a combination of Silver Surfer and Hela, could be really, really good. Things like that. And then finally, we have node number 10, and this is once again coming back to the Young Avengers, A-Force, and Inhumans, and we have 12 enemies with 3 waves. We have wave 1 with Sif, Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, Mysterio, Icarus again, America Chavez, and Miss Marvel. Okay, so we have 7 to start. Wave number 2, Crystal and Venom, when I think less than 6 are remaining, and then wave 3, we have Miss Marvel, X-23, and Black Bolt. So this is the first time where we have the most recent patch. This patch that is ongoing right now, we have enemies in Mighty Thor and Valkyrie. So, obviously, because I haven't played with them, I'm just going on a limb and thinking that, yeah, maybe you want to do something with them, that you want to deal with them. Particularly Valkyrie, right? Because when characters go under 50% health, when they die, Valkyrie puts up a shit ton of buffs on the others, and I think that just Mighty Thor being a new character, and she has like AoE flips and stuff in her ult, I think that's kind of scary as well. I put Icarus here because, once again, he's not with Cersei, but he is damage, and so this might be something that you might want to consider. Miss Marvel will off-tank, and taunt when hero characters are under 50% health, which is basically everyone except for Mysterio. The rest doesn't seem really too big of a deal. There's a lot of older characters. You have Crystal, Venom, so there's a lot of heal block going on. Miss Marvel, X-23, and Black Bolt. X-23 might be a bit of a concern, and then some off-tanking going on with Miss Marvel again, with 2 of them. So you probably don't want 2 Miss Marvels stack up. So I would probably recommend getting rid of like Valkyrie and Mighty Thor, and then getting rid of like Miss Marvel probably, if you can, because you don't want 2 Miss Marvels on the field. I think that'll probably be a little bit of an issue. So that's all of the node drop information. Now, I want to say I hope this will help, but we don't have the event yet, but I hope this helps you prepare and think about some of the enemies that are going to be upcoming in the upcoming Scourge Famine event. I'm going to try and make this available on my Discord, so if you are a follower there, then keep that in mind in the Boilon's Resources channel. That's where you can find this. It's going to be a bit lengthy, so I'll have to see how it looks like on a photo, or maybe I'll just kind of fix it up and make it look a little bit better. But yeah, I just wanted to give this to you, share this with you all, because I think it's really important information that we get as much of a heads up on the upcoming Scourge event as possible. And so let me know in the comments down below what you think about some of this, what your thoughts are on some of the waves and the nodes individually. Node 5 could be a bit challenging, but overall it doesn't look like as much of a reset fest as the Web Warriors was in the Pestilence event, and Node 7 to me, in my opinion, looks to be one of the hardest, but that's just me with all those characters that are involved in that node. So that's the end of this video, everyone. Hopefully we get some fixes as well to some of the crap that's been going on in the game since the patch went out. Things have been an absolute mess in Marvel Strike Force, but I wanted to share this with you all anyways. So that's it for the video, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.